and welcome everyone to the season 2 of the Join John series. So I'm John Vincent, co-founder of NicheBrainz and the host for this session. Just a quick brief about NicheBrainz. NicheBrainz is a modern consulting platform that helps MSMEs with the AAA concept. That is, we help them assess, access, and accelerate their growth and transformation by connecting them with curated industry experts on demand. So NicheBrainz on the other side also provides an unlimited range of consistent business opportunities for independent industry experts who are looking to realize their fullest potential. So in this session, I'm very happy to have our distinguished guest, Mr. Firoz Said, who's a senior global vice president at Advoy. So Firoz, just a quick brief about Firoz. Firoz is a creative, diligent, and passionate, progressive professional with more than 20 years of experience in sales operations, channel management, marketing, and P&L management across BFSI, internet, media, and highly reputed establishments across India, the Middle East, and the Southeast Asia. He's a law graduate and an entrepreneur at heart. Firoz has been associated with reputed brands like Aviva, ICICI, Ask Me, Sulekha, Monster.com, JobNet, Myanmar as well. So he has also mentored many sales leaders in his career and also taken time to coach young future leaders and guide them towards sales career. So he has also won the Inspirational Leaders Asia Award.
10 रुपया ना दाना ना बीजा लेता हो.
एक मिनट, just can you all right, let me just mute this. Sorry. So he has also won the Inspirational Award of Asia 2022, Visista, that is the best professional award of the Icon 2021 for his selfless support towards educational sector and early stage startups. So he's recently been awarded in excellence in marketing, sales and marketing at the Guru World Summit 2021. So absolutely wonderful to have you today with us, Firoz. Great to have you here. All right, and so Firoz, I'm just starting off, right? We have a very interesting and important topic for today. That's the secret to sales and how experts can help MSMEs, right? So one of the key attributes to any business success is sales. That's how it's at least pronounced, right? So some say that we need to care for the customer needs. That's how we do sales. Some say we need to create a need for the customers. Some say you should be able to sell anything anything to anyone. So these are some acronyms. But finally, if we have to put it, a lot of people say that either sales is an art or sales is probably science. So what would be that in your perspective, Firoz?
Okay, a very interesting question. Just before we move in, I mean, today's topic is say about secret of sales, but I would want to kind of just start off by saying to a successful sales is not a single or one size formula. It's a combination of multiple strategies and principles. I mean, while we are going to talk about secrets, I just thought I'll just put this particular thing and then build the entire conversation there. Good question, John. I would say that I would put it this way. It is both an art and science. It's a balanced approach, ideally. If you take sales as an art, going back to the olden days, we used to say that sales is about storytelling. Sales is about being very creative. Right. Sales is all about persuasion and having a charisma. So olden days, people used to be hired because it's very smart, good looking, all of that. So that's the way the sales was looked at one point of time. For that particular thing, yes, it's about, you need to look at art, sales as an art, and these are the qualities which is required. Right. But eventually it is actually moved into the science. Now science is about data. Today any sales leader talks about a lot of data. There is any organization you go, there's a clear-cut process being built. There is a technology or every organization. There's very limited organization which talks from an Excel standpoint. We'll have a CRM inbuilt, or CRM which is being deployed for their organization. So if you look at from both the angles, the sales is an art as well as science. Anyone whom I have seen been successful uses both of these sides. It uses a lot of creativity, uses the right data to kind of analyze the business, and also use the technology and look at automation of the business. So I think sales should not be bifurcated as an art or science. It is a combination of both, if you ask me.
Rightly put. I think combination is the the key word here. I will take it here, Firoz. So you need to combine both the art as well as science. So that makes sense. So see, when it comes to typically the sales, right? So we're talking about two kinds of sales. When I say two kinds of sales, one is like you're selling a product or service. It's pretty much straightforward. It's something which is physical, that is something that is present. So it's pretty forward. You're selling it and the customer directly puts it into use. The other one is selling oneself. That is, you're selling your knowledge. So when we look at the product selling versus selling oneself, I don't know, is it like is it the same way that we need to approach both the sales, that is selling a product service to selling oneself's knowledge, or is it completely different? So how do you equate that?
Okay, so I will quote Atharva, who just mentioned that persuasion. He was talking about persuasion. He was talking to Peter. He was talking to me, and he reaches out to a lot of people. So whether it's selling a product or oneself, I think there are certain common principles. One could be persuasion, one could be communication, third could be building trust, and multiple different whether it is an individual or selling oneself or a product, unless and until you demonstrate value, I don't think anyone will look into it. The key difference, what is being sold is basically on the process, which is being the structure of the process. Product is predominantly transactional,
Right.
and selling oneself is about selling the expertise or deeper knowledge, which is thing. And selling a product is always about the quality of that particular product, and selling oneself is always a consultative approach. But there are certain things which is common for, like I mentioned earlier, they're common, but then two different approaches work for both these.
Yeah.
I hope I gave you my answer was.
I think it makes sense here, Firoz. So, but let's put it here. I'm just a little bit driving towards the expert here. Because obviously we have a good pool of expert audience here. So when I'm just trying to drive more towards the expert side. So when it comes to the customers, let's take it from the customer's perspective, right? So what are the deciding factors for customers to actually engage an expert here? I would say,
All of us are customers,
right,
right? We engage in different places with different people. So I think I mean, I would speak here as a customer rather than being a sales expert.
okay,
I would say, what do we look at? We look at reputation, we look at track record, we look at trust and reliability, maybe the right way of communicating to us, communication, the expert and specialization. If my wife is a customer, she'll look at value for money.
right,
So it depends from different personas who is approaching. And if it's a B2B, I mean, imagine if I'm a B2B client and I wanted to kind of for me, I'm approaching organization for my organization, I think a right clear proposal and the right deliverable is what I would ideally look at. Yeah, and these are the few things I could think of.
Does culture also fit somewhere in this? Because I see sometimes, for the experts, especially, right? I look at customers also, having because now with the digital medium and everything, I see more and more what happens is still some of the customers do expect the experts to be in person, being in front, because as you said, product needs that feel and touch. But when it comes to a consulting, right, at the end of the day, you're sharing a knowledge. I see more and more, even though we are into the digital era, with all the, the Zooms and the WhatsApps, everything, I still see that, customers still expect that one physical, discussion in person, right? So that, I don't know, is that some cultural thing or something that also, matches in that? I just wanted to understand that too.
I would beg to differ here. I'll tell you why. I was part of an organization called Monster.com. Few minutes back when you introduced me, you did mention about Monster.com. We were one of the pioneers who believed in virtual selling. So, which means while I was managing the Middle East and South Africa business, I had a very skeleton team in those locations. All of these demos, conversation was done virtually over the phone. This was pre-COVID time, when
Right.
we normally did not believe in uh, the virtual. I mean, there was very less virtual conversations at that particular time. Everybody want to have a touch and feel.
Yeah.
We used to do $100,000 plus sale every month, with say about Monster with each regions. So that's the kind of, and it's all virtual, and it's one of the profitable businesses. And the current organization which I have, which is Edvoy, which is about study abroad, and now study abroad has always been a brick and mortar. Always, it is to be multiple offices, and going and meeting the counselors, taking advice for them. We are one of the pioneers in this industry who tells the student and family not to come to office, but book a virtual meeting with us and take virtual advice. A couple of advantages is, they save a lot of time traveling. If
Right.
you come, you imagine, say about, if you go to an office, a study abroad thing, I would say there is a lot of waiting period, because a lot of parents and students which come in. So we wanted to kind of take away their waiting period, and much like that. I know it's not there at the moment, but 10 years down the line, virtual will be the only one. You take the current generation, they all, if I tell my kids that let's go for shopping, they'll say, going going for shopping, I have Amazon, please credit the amount to my account, I will buy.
Yeah.
I can do a comparison. I can look at the reviews of people. If I go to a shop, who will I ask for reviews? I
Yeah.
can't go and ask somebody else for reviews. So if somebody, I think virtual is the future. While COVID forced us to be there, but there would be a time when we all move in there, and virtual would be the in thing.
Right. Right. That makes sense. So I'm just taking more towards the expert side, right? Because normally probably the audience are from the expert side. So when you look at customers, right? When it's from your network, right? It's very easy that you already probably built your rapport, or it's just an extension of the rapport that is built along in the network. It's easy, right, to get in touch with them, work with them. But how is it possible to build that rapport with new customers? Because as I said, as you said, sales is a combination of both the art and science as well. So how do you go and build that rapport with customers, or with new customers, or customers you don't know at all?
Okay. My counter question is that, building rapport important? Now, yes and no, right? So for certain businesses, building rapport is critical. Certain businesses, building rapport is not important because it's very transactional. But if you are in a business which talks about referral business, if you are in a business about having repeated business, building rapport is very, very critical. And this is something which all of us will be worrying. I mean, we will be training our teams also into this particular thing. One of the biggest, I mean, it does not work just by one or two things, but it is a lot of different activities to kind of build the rapport. I think one of the biggest I have personally seen is asking the right questions to the client can help us build rapport.
Yeah.
Listening is also a good skill to kind of build rapport, because while you ask questions and if you do not listen to them very carefully and absorb what is being told by them, you will not be able to kind of build that particular thing. And Mr. John,
Yeah.
using their name is another way of building the rapport. So that's one of the reasons I used your name at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, and being authentic, right? We what are we saying? We want to kind of I mean, if we, it's all about, rapport is about building trust. So if you are authentic, it makes it more relevant and important. uh,
So,
I would also say that no, Atharva was very good in terms of following up with me for a lot of factors for this event. So follow up is also very, very critical thing. And body language you build, if you are, like you mentioned, whether it is uh, a virtual or whether it is if it is virtual, keeping your cameras on, that's very, very critical, very important.
yeah.
Showcasing positive body language. If you're meeting, the way you address them, the way you speak to them, if you sit tired, you're not never going to build a rapport. Building rapport, I mean, it's an ongoing process. You'll have to do multiple different things at multiple different intervals to build rapport, and over the time, I think that rapport will be built.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I know that we've talked about rapport as well. So if let me say we're selling one's expertise, right? So should we actually look at only let me say you are a sales expert here, right? Let's just put it this way here, Firoz, that you're a sales expert. You're working with a client primarily on their sales. So should we only look at making that area which we are expert for that customer successful, or should we even look at explore other areas wherein we can client on different things? Is it okay now? I don't know. I'm just a little bit echoing, I believe. Is it? Yeah, it's fine now.
Yeah,
all right.
it's fine. Yes, yes.
So what I was asking is, so do we need to only focus on our core skill, right? See, there are areas probably the client has having challenges as well. So do we look at the overall, perspective of where and all the customer has challenges, making him overall successful, or when I'm an expert, I should only focus on, hey, this is my area, and this is what I'm being brought in for, and let me focus here. How would you put that in?
So let me try and rephrase. I mean, you're saying that no, is it just to sell our expertise or also making the customers successful? Is that what you were trying to?
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah. One, if you sell, see, it all depends upon, like I said, it depends upon what is the kind of business we are in, what is the kind of product we sell. If you, I mean, if you look at the business as such, and if you are looking at repeated customers. Again, if they are not, if they use your product and if they're not becoming successful on what this product is being bought for,
Yeah.
you will not get repeated customers. So basically, it's about, if you want to have a long-term relationship, then customer being successful is very, very critical.
Right.
If you want your customer to find value on your product which is being sold, you need to kind of ensure the customer is successful. More important, at the current scenario, what businesses we look at, 40% of our business comes from referral. And if we do not look at our customer being successful, how are we going to even ask for referral?
Right.
So these are certain things which I believe is very core to kind of ensure that these having the customer success, the customer being successful for the product use is important, and it also helps you to enhance your reputation in the business.
I think, yeah, it makes sense. It's all about, how overall the engagement that we would like to, keep it with the customer. If you're seriously looking at a long-term value, and I'm sure that, you want to create, a larger impact for them, then you like to, see where are the areas that the customer can be made successful. And, if it's going to be like a very short stint, then maybe you don't really want to focus on the other stuff. So that's what I would take away from this. So on a different context, though, I do understand that pricing, is one of the core things that we discuss when it comes to a product or service, right? Or even oneself. How do we say, when I'm looking at let's say from the expert's perspective, there's a value perception, right? I have a value for myself, and this is probably the cost for my knowledge or my skills. But then there's a perspective from the client that this is what I can afford or I can give. So how do you basically get into a kind of a medium path during, such kind of a sale?
So are you referring to a question where you're saying that whether you need to bring your price down for certain customer? Is that what you're trying to kind of?
Either way, as to what I'm trying to say is, you have your own perceived value for your skill or your service, right? And the customer has it. So how do you basically make it on common ground? So I'm asking, do we stand our ground saying that this is my value, or the customer says that this is what I can, and this is what I feel is affordable from me? So how do you basically get into a common ground? I'm just trying to find out.
Yeah. No, I would say that so there is a very good saying. I mean, no is okay, which basically says that if some customer is saying no to you, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's not the every no has to have a new learning. That's how I would put it across. But yes, if there is a common ground, if you think if there is a future sale which is coming in, there is a repeat business which comes in, there is more referrals which comes in, there is a reputation which gets built. It is good to kind of come into a common ground, but not at the loss of your business.
Right.
You cannot undersell your product to the value you have for that.
Right.
Everyone is into business is to make profits. So profits should be the core of the business. Otherwise, we are not going to kind of move ahead and make. While sales is not, say, we believe that when you are in sales, we believe sales is the only thing in the business or the biggest thing in the business. Sales is not the only thing. P&L is the biggest factor in the business. So you should not play around with the P&L of the organization.
No, I completely agree. I think it makes sense, right? You don't want to undersell yourself. So you have a perceived value. You probably have to stick to it. But then as you pointed out, there are other factors, external factors around. We might want to, see whether, how long is the engagement, what are the other things with this customers that you would like to work with. So there are probably also some environmental factors which can take into, effect when you're going in for, price negotiation. And that's what I'm trying to perceive. Is that right here, Feroz?
Exactly. I mean, you should not go beyond the break even is what I try to kind of mention in a different way.
On that note, I'm just a little bit adding a bit from, to get from your experience. Is there some specific customer that you have dealt with on the price thing wherein it was probably, or, winning the sale was a little bit tough for you? You could basically crack it down and get the customer on board. Is there some experience you could share with us? I'm just thinking. Yeah.
No, 100%. I mean, there are in all our sales careers, there would be, a lot of contracts which we have undersold. So when I was working for a company in the previous company in LifeSite, we had a deal with a very large organization. I don't want to name them because my previous company is any which way is visible in the thing. So we picked up a $500,000 business.
Got it.
That was a big one of the biggest sale in that organization when we were a partner, and it was a large global deal which came in. While everybody felt that that's a biggest business, and having that such a large business was very remarkable. That gave us the lowest profit angle than a smaller sale which we would have got it at, say, about $100,000. So a $500,000 deal gave us lesser profits than the $100,000 in sale. So that's the thing. But we wanted to pick it up because it was a very large organization, and we didn't want to let it go, because if we let it go, we will not get a repeat business with them, and we will not have, I mean, with that particular sale we can actually talk to other customers and build our reputation. So we did that because we wanted to build reputation, we wanted to have repeat customers and multiple factors accordingly.
No, I think you probably put it, that's where I think when we started up, we talked about the, the sales is like an art or science discussion, right? So sometimes it's not just about the current, engagement, which gives you probably, a smaller benefit, but then there's a larger perspective overall to it. When you look at the overall sales thing, it's the brand that you're connecting with, how that is going to give you much bigger benefits than this sale, which you could probably only gain a small. So it puts into various factors when you do a sale. That's what at least I make it from this, Feroz.
Yeah, agreed. Very true. There's no one size fits all formula at all in sales.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It was pretty good and informative one, Feroz. So with that, I'll just open it up for some audience questions as well. So anybody has any questions, please shoot it out. Please unmute and ask your question.
Hello, this is Udan. This is Udan from Gujarat. Now, many a times, Feroz, we come across stickier wickets, like customers, they are sticky in terms of, bargaining. So where do you think you will let it go? At what point of time you will let it go? Is it that break-even thing, or it is more like based on situation you take decision?
So I would say that my wife says I am the biggest bargainer. She doesn't like to go to any shop with me because she feels that I go and bargain for no reason. That's a culture of our people, right? And we've all brought up in that way that we want to build that culture. See, Udayan, there are a couple of things out there. I wanted to build that 2-3 points to you. One, if you're a startup and if you are using your customer acquisition cost, the marketing cost, and buying that customer and see that you have a lot of repeat business and also referral, and it's going to be a long term association. I think using your marketing budget to for a client acquisition there is a good thing. But if you are a very reputed organization, you've been there for a very long time, and it does not make any business sense for you, I would say that I would not sell if it is not giving me any profit. So it depends upon, it is very situational. So if we are a startup, we burn an X number, and the burning is also predefined. Burning could be because we want to burn an X percentage of our overall revenue.
Right.
It's and the burning is a customer acquisition cost which we put it. So it depends upon what is the business you are doing, and what's your reputation in the market, and how do you want to scale it up. If you have been there in the business for 15, 18 years, and you have a great reputation, and you have a largest scale of business, you let go the customer. But if imagine you are a startup, and you want to kill certain people's markets and take away certain share, you kind of undersell, but thinking that they will make we will make use of it at a later point of time. Just quoting a very clear example, Geo is a classic example. When they came into the market, they gave completely free. Imagine all our
Correct.
families using Geo phones for 7 months, 9 months, what 12 months completely free. Then they got used to it. See, look at the logic they use. A number you cannot keep changing, because you go give it to the bank, you give it to your friends, you give it to your neighbors, and because Geo was free, you were only using that for calling, and people will call you back in that number. Because everybody started calling you in that number, you went and changed it in your bank. And when they made it chargeable, everybody had to recharge.
Right. Yeah. And now I have one more question, if I can ask.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So now we have a SaaS product, and we are trying to enter East African market. I'd been there last month, just a flying visit, not a. So, what would be your strategy? I mean, for African market, if at all, for a SaaS product, in
See,
terms of pricing policy or market penetration strategy?
so it all depends upon the competition. See, first of all, you need to kind of identify the competition there. What is there a similar business already there, and what are the kind of competition you will face, and what are the kind of questions they could come up with. Right. So your target market is Africa. You need to kind of understand. You need to kind of first understand the competition. What are they selling at? And you will also have to identify that what is the marketing cost which you want to put it. Do you want to burn, or you are looking at you're looking at
Entering the market.
no, you're looking at
Immediate profits, probably.
yeah,
Immediate. Yeah.
immediate profits.
Right. Okay. So
That's the
that
two things
is
which you need to
very
look at.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that trade-off is important. Whether you want profit first or you want a penetration first,
correct.
and how long you can
It's about
sustain. If
correct, correct.
okay. Okay.
So
Thank you. Thank you.
for that, unless and until you know your competition, you will not be able to do that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So, Mr. Feroz, I have a couple of questions here.
Who is this?
Atharva.
Yeah, Atharva,
Okay.
yes.
So first question would be, we spoke about sales in general and what should be the perspective and personality of a salesperson. So, but we also mentioned about the digital world growing drastically across the world. So what are your thoughts and experience and reviews on some of the few sales tools that you use and that might be useful for the younger generation coming in,
See,
which they should be learning?
you're talking about sales technology.
Yes, sales technology and tools at the same time.
No, you're talking about sales techniques or the tools like CRM tools is what you're...
Tools.
See, a lot of organizations have their own specific tools. So, for example, I've used Salesforce, I've used HubSpot, and I find that each of them are very competitive. But the current company which I have believe that building their own tool is more efficient and more effective, because to kind of you can build it customized. So yeah, if you are in this current generation, if you are in the sales or any domain, if you do not understand how to use a CRM or a systems, it does not help. It is very, very important to kind of learn. So the first thing, if you are joining any organization, you need to understand which tool they are using, and do a lot of demo videos, demo think about the usage of sales CRM, and that will be helpful for you to grow also, because you will be able to kind of create multiple different reports, give more data insights to the organization, and it will help you as a person as well as the organization.
Yes, because uh, exactly, because a lot of new people nowadays, I've seen a lot of college students, my batchmates and everybody jumping into sales, looking at it as an interest. But I also wanted to throw light here on how important is technical knowledge for being a good salesperson as well.
See, every organization is moving into like one of the questions John asked me is about whether sales is an art or a science. So I think it's a combination. Like I mentioned at the beginning, it's a combination of art and science. If you do not know how to kind of forecast, if you do not know how to do a data crunching, it's not going to help you grow to the next level in the organization, or you get stuck at where you are.
True. And adding on to that, talking about sales and digitalization, my question would be, what are your thoughts and your views on assumption in closing a sale? Because somewhere or the other, assumption plays a sometimes small and sometimes an important role. What are your thoughts on assumption while closing a sale?
Otherwise, there's nothing called assumption. If you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
Uh-huh.
So I do not believe in assumption at all. But then it's about persuasion. You assume that he is good, and he will the person the client will buy, and you pursue that particular customer again and again. There's a
Yes.
very old saying that you get sale on the seventh follow up.
Yes.
Uh, that is true and not true also. So current sales trends are, if a client does not need anything, they tell you I don't need it, and like I mentioned in the previous conversation, no is okay. So it is persuasion is good, but over persuading a customer will also kind of create a lot of challenge. So which basically today we all get hundreds of calls from loan and Bajaj Finance.
Yes.
They believe that one day we will require a need and we will say yes to them. So imagine, say, about you getting three calls in a day for a loan. It is making an ass out of me and him. It's as you assumption. So it is also persuading. So persuading at an older generation was different. This time is very different. So it is about how rightly you persuade, how subtly you persuade. That's also important.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
On that same note, I just had this question here again, Firoz. So typically, some of when we are primarily we work with MSMEs, manufacturing industries. Let's understand this. So manufacturing industries typically work in a different way. So they are a little bit the response times, or they are not. Let me say extremely professional. They're not used to probably putting back an email or reaching back to you. But then there is a need. But then how do you basically understand that that there's a need with the customer, and the customers are probably like this. So do you tune yourself, or do you say that as a, as an expert or, a product selling company, let's understand, you say that, I think they are not professional enough, so, it's not right for me to work. How do you perceive that?
Customer is a customer. So, whether they are the Tatas or, anywhere else, it's a customer. And all of us, like I mentioned, all of us are customers at a different point of a time. I would say that, there is a set methodology every customer behaves.
Mm-hmm.
Different. See, when it is a very high value, like I did mention about this, $500,000. Now it's a very reputed organization, but they had gone silent for almost 2-3 months.
All right.
Right. So it does not mean that, no, they did not want, because it was a higher deal. They wanted to kind of have internal conversations, and they
Right.
wanted to kind of take multiple approvals and come back to us.
Right.
Imagine, if me or my team had sent out every 15 day, okay, I'm showing it across to my boss that, there's a very clear persuasion follow up I'm doing every 15 days. They would have just said that, no, Feroz, we will. I don't want it. I want it. You're too troublesome. Instead, it's very simple. You check with them. They say, okay, I need 90 days to kind of come back. You don't follow up on every 30th day. You follow up on a maybe 75th day or a 85th day. That's it. So your follow-up pattern has to change because the current generation and current pattern of business is completely different.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
Sir, hello, sir. So this is Shravan from Coimbatore. Sir, I have a question actually. Sir, actually, I'm from a water and wastewater company, or my organization is based on. So I'm taking care of project execution till now, and suddenly my management asked me to focus on my sales. So I'm new to sales. So what should I focus generally, and what are my target customers? How should I approach this situation, sir?
So target customers, you are the best one to identify. But the first thing you need to focus on is to know your product. If you know your product, you will be able to sell. It's about building confidence, belief in what you want to sell.
Okay.
If you go thoroughly and understand about your product and believe that this product is supposed to be helping an X number of people, then your job is done, half done. Then
Okay,
it's
sir.
all about communication and all other points which we discussed. Good luck
Okay, sir.
on your new
Thank
role.
you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
This is Udayan again. Can I come in?
Yes, Uday.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to know, like with changing dynamics of the industry, there are challenges every year, every 2 years, like what we had COVID.
Yeah.
So what do you think are the challenges before sales, in general sales industry in current times or in times to come? Do you perceive any such challenges which are likely to come, or something which we need to mitigate with?
So biggest challenges in sales have always been, whether how much ever the industry change, is about funnel friction, which means your prospect to your final client. How do you kind of persuade them? How you look after that particular funnel is the most critical one. Now, most of the sales people, the biggest challenge is that they, when they reach out to a next number of people and they say no, they think that all the clients will say no to this particular thing. One is about one could be because they're not looked at the right target audience. The second is also about they do not understand the funnel friction percentage, which means your lead is come, a lead will move into a next level, only a next percentage will go depending upon industry. So that's something which needs to be looked at. And you're talking about the biggest challenge. The other biggest challenge would be that manpower. The current generation, sort of very minimalistic. Unlike us, we wanted a house, we wanted a car, all of that. The current generation is all about renting it out. They don't want to own anything. They just have, say, about 3 pair of clothes, all of that. So keep having the team stay with you for a longer time, and uh, believe in your vision and mission and working along with you. That's going to be the biggest challenge. Automation of your sales process is the key in the going period.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening.
I would. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, how to increase the network of ours?
How to increase your network?
Yes.
Network is your net worth, man. Narsim. Network is
Yes,
your
sir.
net worth. So increasing network is about being part of different clubs, being part of different meetings, being part of different associations, uh, uh, you know having the first conversation, having the courage to have the first time conversation with people. That's how you build network. There is no shortcuts there. You'll have to build your network over a period of time. Otherwise, it does not stay. I mean, there are your Facebook, you might have 5,000 friends, but imagine, say, what no, when you step out, there's no one to talk to you. That's not the network. Network is about interacting, building trust with people, and then moving ahead.
I think one point which you made also, remembering them by name, that's very important, right? That's how you build it as well. You build your, your network is one of the ways that's what I would think that, it's not you simply recognize a face, but you know him by name. You probably know what they do, and that's how the interaction basically starts out.
Yeah, perfect, John. I just wanted to add there. So one of the LinkedIn is a big thing at the moment, right? Everybody talks about LinkedIn. Imagine somebody comes and puts saying that, oh, I'm excited to have 25,000 followers,
Yeah.
and three people come and like it. So we need to have a very structured, very right way of network also.
Yeah.
And just we don't need followers. Trust me, we don't need followers. A net can be smaller but more fruitful.
Right.
Like John mentioned, knowing them, connect pages. So, for example, how I worked on my network is that, when I was in school, I was in Interact Club, and it gave me a lot of the Interact Club used to make us send to different Interact Clubs, and we used to make more friends. When I went into college, I was part of Rotaract Club,
Right.
and I used to interact with other Rotaract clubs. When I became a professional, I became a part of Rotary Club. I'm not trying to sell Rotary and Rotaract. I'm just saying that, no, that's how you kind of move into and.
We lost you in between.
Hello.
Yeah. Now
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah. So, today, for my industry, there is an event called ISEF event, and we all go to there because that's how we build our network in the industry. So it depends upon your industry. There could be a lot of associations, a lot of events which is happening. You need to be there and create the right conversation. To create right conversation, you should know the industry, you should know your product, and you should know what is the current market trends about it, so that you are able to speak on that.
Thank you,
Can
sir.
I add? Can I ask? Yeah, sure. Please go.
Yeah, sir. Please, you can add, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Uday.
Yeah, I did not hear.
So Firoz, I just kind of out of syllabus question now. How do you unwind in the evening? Like people say sales guys, they are extroverts during day, and evenings they unwind, they become introverts. So I keep myself, I keep my mouth shut. I don't talk much, but that's not the way to be with your family. So is there any mantra for me and the guys like me that during day we speak or talk so much that evening we get tired of talking? So we even don't want to talk to our family. So what is your mantra for to overcome such a situation?
So there is, like I mentioned, there is no one size fit all. But I can tell you what I do, what I personally do, and that's been working out very well for me. I manage the global sales now, which basically says I have to work 7 days a week because my markets are working every day. The Middle East work on Sunday, the few markets work on
Right.
Saturday, few markets doesn't work on Friday, and it's around the clock, 24 hours you have to be available. So my way is that I get up at 6:30 in the morning. 30 minutes is me time in the balcony with drinking a bottle of water. That's it, nothing else. There's a good grass and everything I've put in my balcony. I love my balcony. I just sit there, just me time, nobody gets up. 7 a.m. I go wake my kids. I make breakfast for them, and 7:30 I wake my wife so that she kind of makes tea for both of us.
Okay.
And at 8 o'clock I step out to drop my kids to school, and when I come back I park my car, give my key to the security so that when my driver comes the key is handed over to him, and then I go for a 1 hour of walk. 8:45 to 9:45 I'm actually just walking, no music, nothing, just walking. 9:45 I hit the gym. 10:05 I'm out. I come to home, go hit your washroom, finish off all my morning activities in the washroom, come out, my breakfast is ready. I sit with my wife, have breakfast with her, sip a tea, get into my car. 11 o'clock onwards my meeting starts. So basically my car is actually equipped with stuffs which I can do my meetings and my. So by the time I reach office, my initial stand-ups with my team is over, and I have my multiple meetings. 8 o'clock, I leave back to home, and when I'm going, I meet my Africa team. I meet my Middle East team, and by the time I reach home, all my meetings are over. Laptop goes shut down. Then it's again family time. I put my kids to bed. I sit with them, talk to them until they sleep, and then I go sit with my wife, talk to her, maybe watch 30 minutes of TV with her and all of that. And once everybody sleeps, I open my laptop for another 30 minutes, 11:30 to 12. Then I shut down it, and then I recharge myself and get up at 6:30 in the morning. So that's my routine, and it's worked out well. Having no conversation does not help. Having no
Right.
sales conversation helps. For you to recharge, you need to speak about family, and you need to feel loved. How do you feel loved? You need to give love to others. Only then the love comes back, whether it is family or outside. So this has worked well for me, and I believe it will work for you also there.
Thanks. Thanks.
I'd like to just add on that here an anecdote basically of my friend. I met him after 5 years. He's a hardcore sales guy with one of the leading banks of the country. I met him in Delhi. Almost 5, 6 years later, he took me out for dinner. And when obviously he was paying, and when the credit card machine came, I'm just telling you, once a salesman is a 24/7 salesman. To the guy who was brought the POS machine, he says, "Why don't you have XYZ bank?" "Sir, I don't know. That is my manager." "Who's the manager? I'd like to speak." Very politely spoke to the manager, got the contact details of the owner of the hotel. He's meeting me after 6 years. After that dinner, we're supposed to go around, drive in Delhi, and he's spending 15 minutes after the dinner to get the name of the manager because he can give that one POS machine of his bank. Now, I was simply floored. The guy was a sales guy throughout the day. Right? Anywhere he stops, he looks at an opportunity. He saw that machine and said, "Why not?" So that's one perspective. He was having a personal time with a very close friend after 5 years, 6 years, and he was still selling. So
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. So I would say, Nitin, there is an article which I wrote in 2016 called Sales, a Way of Life. And it actually gives a perception of me being a lawyer, how I moved into sales career. So if you get time, you should go read my article. I'll just see if I can share it here.
Can you share in chat the
Yeah,
link?
I'm just trying to pick that up. I'm not trying to promote my LinkedIn page. That's not the intention.
Oh no, we know that.
Yeah, just sharing it with all of you. Yeah.
I think it's here. All right. It's in the chat, so anybody can just quickly save it with them.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty good then. I think
There's no
we're
questions.
close to the timeline allotted for us. So once again, thank you so much, Feroz. It was absolutely wonderful, interactive session, and there's a lot of insights that you've given us. I'm sure a lot of questions were all there, and you patiently answered each and every question from your point of view. It was wonderful to have you again. Thank you so much. And
thank you, John, for hosting me.
Absolutely.
And thank you all for kind of, taking time and listening to me. Just wanted to kind of, sum up by saying that, again, I go back to my first statement. There's no all size fit for sales. You have to be ready to experiment, and you have to have that belief in yourself as well as your product which you're selling, and think you'll do wonders. Thank you very, very much, all of you. Thank you for asking.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing insights. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Again, thank you so much. This is John signing off, and see you on the next episode of Join John with probably another interesting topic as well. Bye. Good day.
Niche Brains. Democratizing digital transformation.